What's happening, hardscapers? I have 6 details that make a good hardscaper. Let's get into this. This video complements our last video, which was about 6 controversial things that hardscapers debate about. And now we're going to build on top of that with 6 details that make a good hardscaper. Not a great hardscaper, not the best hardscaper, but just a good hardscaper. And I want your comments in the comments section. If I missed anything, if you'd add anything to this list, would love to hear them. But the one that stands out the most for me when you're looking at a project is cuts. Hardscapers that take their time with their cuts, especially around odd shaped structures like circles, say drainage, or a structural element in the space. Cuts like this, where this is just a straight cut. Polymeric sand hides bad cuts a little bit, but you can see I did this one to curve it a little bit, but this is where you can tell when you've got a good hardscaper or a great hardscaper. That's the difference. Or even foundations that are angled, or even just getting creative with their cuts. Mark my line. And that is the end result of the caps. Cutting is a thing that good hardscapers take pride in, so they're going to take their time with those cuts to make sure that they look nice. Bad cuts can sometimes be slightly hidden with some polymeric sand, as you saw in that clip there, but a good hardscaper, like I said, is just going to take their time and make it look nice with the cutting. Or even in curves with their border pavers. There's not going to be large gaps in between pavers. They're going to be nice and tight, keeping the joint width consistent with what the actual paver is when it's laid. And when it comes to curves, that usually means a lot more cutting, and especially cutting pavers twice, one on each side, to achieve those curves so that they're nice and symmetrical. And that takes time, and that takes effort, and that's why it's an easy corner to cut. The next one is consolidating the jointing compound, and this really just makes a hardscaper, not even a good hardscaper, but I feel like this needs to be on this list because I sometimes see people not consolidating that jointing compound. Once again, it's an additional step, but it is a crucial step to make sure that that jointing compound reaches the bottom of the joint. When you're installing that jointing compound, if you just sweep it in, the larger granules in it will choke out the rest of the material from reaching the bottom of that joint. So using a compactor with a mat on it to protect the pavers, or a paver roller, that's going to help in the consolidation of that jointed compound down to the bottom of the joint. Crucial step, needs to be done. So you can actually see how much this polymeric sand goes down after compacting it compared to uncompacted. And even still, this has been vibrated down, and that's gone down quite a bit. 1/4 inch to at least 1/2 inch in some spots. The next one is that a good hardscaper knows the difference between base types and when to use which one. We have about 4 different base types. We have dense graded base, open graded base, synthetic base, and a concrete base. None of these are wrong unless you're using stone dust, but there are situations where these are better to be used. For example, open graded base, if you have a permeable jointing compound, is going to let a lot of water into that system, so you need a lower area ideally to drain that water to, unless your subsoil is a good free draining subsoil. And if you don't, a dense graded base is likely going to be a better base. So on this project, we have a very nice sandy subsoil here. You can see how sandy that is. This is a perfect application for open graded base, where that water is going to permeate right through. We're going to do a semi-permeable jointing compound with a 1/8 of an inch per foot slope towards the back of the yard here. This is an awesome application because I'm not so worried about drainage on a sandy subsoil. That water is just going to work its way through. If we're doing this on clay, I'm more so inclined to put a perforated drainage pipe somewhere in the patio to drain out into the back of the yard somewhere to daylight. And a synthetic base is going to be really helpful if you have a tight access situation to help your clients save a little bit of money. It will cost more in materials, but it'll save them on labor. But each of these base types have their applications. We have a full video explaining each of these and the applications. You'll find that in the description below. The next one is that a good hardscaper knows geotextile and geogrid, and specifically the difference between woven and non-woven geotextile and uniaxial and biaxial geogrid, or even triaxial, as well as their use cases. Once again, we have a video for each of these topics on geotextile and on geogrid linked in the description below. Both geotextiles are good for separating the subsoil from the base material, but woven is going to be better for reinforcement, non-woven better for drainage. In terms of uniaxial and biaxial geogrid, uniaxial is used in retaining walls. Biaxial you can use in your base material for your patio to add reinforcement. And same thing with triaxial. As you can see, our geogrid is sandwiched between the two layers. So I put 4 inches in compact geogrid, 4 inches compact bedding layer, screed, lay pavers. That geogrid is biaxial. That means it's got strength in both directions, 2 directions. And that's going to help stabilize the aggregate. That adds stabilization. Our non-woven geotextile adds separation from our subsoil to our 3/4 inch clear stone so that they're not going to mix. Another thing that makes a good hardscaper is knowledge of product, and that becomes the paver choices that are available on the market. They know the difference between face mix and through mix, wet cast and dry cast, and they can lean their clients towards better product choices for their project to bring that project to life. I come from a supplier background, so I was able to gain the knowledge of product through that experience and apply that directly through my business. But a lot of these manufacturers have great workshops during the winter, or you can just reach out to your dealer or sales rep and get a lot of knowledge from them for these product choices, which will help your client in choosing the right product for their project. Too often I see the wrong product used in the wrong application. For example, I was just sent a photo of somebody with a project with a nice house and they had driveway curbs as a garden edging. It's just not the right choice in that application, especially when their pavers were really nice. Or beyond pavers, you can choose porcelain, you can choose natural stone. Make sure you have knowledge of these different materials to once again lean the client in the direction that they are wanting to envision in their space. Which brings me to my last point, and that's just having the design basics. The difference between sailor cores, soldier cores, when to use each one, pavers that make good borders, using a contrasting color border, or just blending the border in with the field pavers. Or if you have a tight 3-foot walkway, not using a border paver that is 12 inches on each side, so that you have a 12-inch border, then 12 inches of the main paver, and then 12 inches of a border paver. It doesn't look good. Instead, use a sailor course in that situation, where maybe it's 6 inches, then 2 feet, and then 6 inches. Or don't even have a border at all in that tight space. There's so many different things that I can touch on with design and the basics of it, but once again, we have a link in the description below on paver design basics. And once again, we have a link in the description below for paver choices and the differences between pavers that you can watch. But these are the 6 details that make a good hardscaper. Once again, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me, if you have another point, leave it in the comment section. Would love to hear from you. And if you missed it, there should be a video popping up in the top corner on 6 controversial things that hardscapers debate on. Definitely worth a watch. And we'll catch you on the next one.